So, Adlina, you spent 6 weeks here in this time?
Yes, 6 lovely weeks.
Last time you had come for 4 weeks.
Correct.
And I think the only person who has lasted longer than you is a lady by the name of Reena,
Correct.
who stayed for 8 months and was able to make use of the space, shall I say. And so I want to just get some feedback for the benefit of others. So what do you see about this place? Because I can say all good things, and that doesn't make it the reality, isn't it? Reality is from the person who is coming to use it. I can say whatever I want, we can say whatever we want, but that does not make it the reality. That's why I thought that before leaving at midnight, so before I thought better we use some of the evening time to just give your thoughts on this.
Well, the reason why I think I have a strong observation is having lived in ashrams at 18 and now the 50-year difference, and coming to a kutir, I already see that there is quite a difference. Because in an ashram, there's so many people, there's such a lot of austere routines. Here, we have a one-on-one relationship with someone who takes the time to help us grow. And, all the karma yoga, all the washing of dishes, all the asanas, they'll get you just so far for the purification. But to work on our inner self, the real things that trouble us, which we cover up in our relationships, in our work, and we kind of hide. But I find that this type of environment really brings out the things that we have the
So
most
what
trouble
would you
with.
say is the real difference between, let's say, an ashram, which people know all over the world? If you tell ashram, they have got some idea. Between that and something which we call a kutir, what is the real difference here?
There's more time for personal growth. You aren't regulated as to everything you have to do, when you have to do it. True, the one thing you definitely emphasize is the meditation. The other things, we have a little bit more flexibility, how much we want to do, what we want to do. But the fact that you're teaching us how to observe the mind, that was not emphasized in the places that I went to. And it has really, this trip, the objects and the person watching the mind, it's separate. This mind is what is giving us all so much havoc, because we give it so much power and we forget that there's a charioteer inside. And that charioteer we all have, but you have to learn that it exists.
Okay. But what I am saying is, from our point of view, when we are telling our trustees and we are telling people who want to help us, that the biggest advantage of a kutir is that the person who is there is available to you on to one-on-one basis.
Exactly.
Now, to me, that seems to be the biggest advantage. Other things will be there going on, but that is one of the things that I think that in large ashrams, everything is a massive thing. Approach, you cannot approach. Some special people can approach. Some special cannot approach. So all kinds of dynamics go on there. Here we are saying, no, that is not necessary. You can approach with your problem. We can have a chat on that. And of course, the chat will not be a regular chat. It will be for learning only. So we can have a chat on that, and I can help you see a better perspective on that. That is the idea of a kuti. So keep it small. So does that make sense to you?
Well, it's the first time that anybody asked me, what was your experience in your morning meditation? What did you feel? And the reflection is so much deeper when you have someone who does meditation you see that person really does do what he talks about, as opposed to from a book only. And that, I think, is so powerful.
Okay, so your biggest takeoff right now, I think, is the observation versus some kind of a judgment that used to come in the past. You are able to detach yourself. We've been talking about Atman Brahman for quite some time now. 3-4 years you attended many classes on Zoom and things like that. So are you clear of the concept of Atman?
I think I'm much clearer. It's not a place, it's not a space. It's a very intriguing concept, that, it's bigger than it's not outside, that's for sure. And that's a biggie, because I'm usually, I like to see what's going on, but to actually look what's going on inside, that has been profound.
Okay, all right. So, because it's not an easily understandable concept.
No.
But you have done Rathabodha, I think. You have done Tattvabodha
Yes,
with me.
yes,
And you have done Pata Bhagavad Gita also
yes,
with me.
yes.
The short
I'm
version.
understanding the
Knowledge
language
and
now.
Up to now it is alien.
Yes.
Taken that much of time.
Remember, us foreigners, it's not like an Indian devotee who knows a lot of
No,
this.
no, don't assume that. That is
I mean, it's not.
They think they know, but they use the words, but not necessarily know. So don't generalize.
But the
I'm talking
understand.
only with the people, never generalize.
Okay, but I am now. When you're saying the words, it's
making some
making
sense.
sense.
Correct.
Yeah.
So that's a big payoff.
Yeah.
The other thing is that, this, I always had this concept that small is good, big is not so good. Small is big. So we have this place physically. How do you find it? Is it
Well,
convenient
first
for
of all,
you?
the garden. You've given us a beautiful place. Masters, the master's bust, the introduction to Shankaracharya, which in all my teachings, I had no idea who he was.
That's really interesting.
Isn't that strange? It was never emphasized. Maybe I was asleep, I don't know, but with all the yoga centers, this is really the first time I've been introduced to those works and what he actually did, And then, of course, Master Shivananda is so revered here. That is a blessing. The environment is so quiet. It's so peaceful. And you're not under that pressure of having to do all the time. In the world, we're having to do all the time. Here, I don't feel that. And that, it's like a breath of fresh air for me, because was always, you have to prove yourself, and that's, I don't feel that here.
See, we don't really give ourselves time. This is a problem. We need it. And we think that by not acting, not doing something, we are wasting that time. It's not so.
Yeah.
Here you get some opportunity for doing what you want. I'm very surprised that you finally started reading, and that of all things, a text by the name of Katha Upanishad, and read it back to back. I never expected you to do it.
I know.
Whatever drove you to read a book like that?
Well, first of all, to have such a youth go and be offered everything, and him to say, no, you can't lure me into that Maya. I want the real truth. And I figured if a 7 or 8-year-old boy can figure that out, a 70-year-old woman should begin to think about it. And
But
if
that's a story.
but I saw it like this was an example for me that it's possible to understand the Atman. And it's so easily, I didn't put it down.
Anything about this place we can improve? Rajesh, you met Rajesh. Okay.
I think you have the right people involved. The Kutir cuisine is divine. You have excellent meals, very substantial. There's nothing that you really are lacking. the cleanliness of it, the incredible water. You have your own well. But the garden for me, it's such a great addition because it's actually much bigger than the actual kutir.
Which one?
Our garden.
Yes,
And I know people thought that was a little crazy to spend so much on putting this garden, but it's really important to have this green area where you can look out, and then of course the Shiva Lingam, that is like from another
How
planet.
many sculptures do we have here?
So far, 1, 2, 3, 4, besides the paintings. That's the other thing. I know everybody comes to India to go to temples. People are asking me, why don't you go out? I said, I'm in a temple. I'm in a living temple. And in particular, the artist that you've brought in, who's also a priest, amazing, who does pujas and things, the way he brings out this particular style of painting, you're mesmerized by it. And it's not like a reproduction.
How many paintings are there?
Well, I know
How many murals are there?
1, 2, 3 upstairs, murals,
Ah,
and then the
which
whole
don't-
wall.
whole walls.
Yeah.
So there are, it consists of many paintings, one behind Shankara,
Oh,
one
that's
behind,
that's true,
one behind,
true.
one behind
Master,
Shivananda,
yeah,
one on the upstairs, which is
Right, the Ramayana.
the one which is of Ramayana story.
Yes.
It's called Rameshwaram, where Rama does puja to Shivling. Then upstairs we have Buddha, we have a meditating person, and we have Arthanarishwar.
Which
Add that downstairs,
a
we
full
have the
wall.
Devi. So
The,
it's quite a lot
the
of
whole
painting.
group.
Plus,
Brahma,
of
Vishnu,
course,
and Shiva.
Lingam, Lingam also, and behind that whatever.
And Nandi.
So you think this creates the right atmosphere?
For what we're looking for, coming from the hectic, crazy, I come from Hollywood, you can't get more Sodom and Gomorrah than that. To be able to not want to walk out the door and look for anything else shows me that I have everything I need right here. There's nothing missing. It can only grow. And the fact that you want to do something for children, because the earlier you start this,
You mean you're talking about Veda Pacha?
Veda Pachala, that to me is what's inspiring me to help more.
Okay, let me ask you one straightforward, simple thing. Suppose a person is wanting to come here, new person wanted to come here, and I put you on the board. I said, please speak to her, please tell her or tell him before he comes, something, so that they come in a proper frame of mind. What would you tell them?
Well, I tell them to come with an open mind, especially if they have it. Like I sent one of my dear friends, Karen, who didn't study yoga with me.
Yeah, Karen was here. Yes.
And she came, I was supposed to come with her, I got sick, I couldn't, and she said, I'm going anyway. Now, she didn't get any introduction, but she's the type of a mind that is very sweet and receptive and had no great expectations. But the fact that it changed her life in only a few weeks.
Has it?
Oh, she's
Nobody
told me
changes their life in 2 weeks.
it has definitely made her aware of where she needs improvement. And this is a
And
judge,
she's an educated
a
person.
highly
okay?
educated.
She's judge. She's not a lawyer.
No, she's
So
a
if
judge.
you tell me in 5 weeks, 3 weeks or 4 weeks,
Yeah,
can do.
you-
Well, then we can
She
try.
changed her
But
diet.
that's not the
She's
reality.
learned hatha yoga. She's, contemplating meditation on a regular. She's dropping some of the bad habits that she even didn't think about. So obviously, this is a concentrated energy. I know Master's behind it all, and it's grace, but not everywhere do you get that. So
Karen, I agree. Karen, maybe because she was ready,
could be,
maybe she was ready, maybe she was open,
yeah.
that practically there was no long discussions we had. Just doing what I was telling, and she was here for only 2 weeks, right?
I know.
15 days she was
Yeah.
here. No, but somebody else who, even from India, people who come, what would you tell them about that?
Well-
Open heart, of course, it's all right, but
First of all, turn off your cell phone. There's no distractions here. So if you have any disturbances of the mind, it's going to come out. You're going to, because you're going to have to learn to deal with yourself, not with the excitement and
That's difficult.
yeah, yeah. And a lot of people, like I used to tell them, it's not a cheap motel. You better do the work because you won't stay otherwise. Because there's something here that makes you decide, what do I want in life? Do I want to be free as a spiritual soul, or do I want to get wrapped up in the illusion?
You mean to say you come here only for spirituality? Is not going to help a person who is living his or her life outside?
Well, as soon as I go back, I apply everything I've learned here. However, I come here for my own spiritual growth. Maybe a little selfish, but I need to get, like, I can't give peace if I don't have peace. So, and this place definitely makes me go internal, because there's no distractions. We're in a little village.
Very good village.
And very sattvic people. Even the young lady who comes to help take care of the property, I mean, every day she brings us fresh milk for us to have that lovely thing that makes our coffee and everything. So quiet, so humble, so unpretentious, so willing to serve, so willing to help. You know, it's not like, what are you going to give as a tip? What are you going to give me? That's just, isn't even a consideration. And that you do it by donations only. That's unheard of in the world today. It really is.
Pray, yeah.
Oh, I do.
Because I don't know
how you do
whether
it.
this can continue.
I know.
And how long it can continue. People
Just the
keep telling
electricity
me.
bill.
People keep telling me, all right, do it, play. Like as if I'm playing some game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm playing a game also, if you want to call it. But I have this sincere belief.
I know.
Because Swami Sivananda, for some reason, had said that. It was not without reason. And I think the commitment that he is able to still have 50 years, 70 years after his death was because when people came to him, he never asked them for any monetary thing. He just wanted their presence, you know. And he said, over a period of time, the people will come because they want to come here, not because they want to have a holiday or they want to just pay something and be here. And that commitment you can get only when they come and see and participate and feel that it's not a business kind of an affair. That's gone very deeply into my own personal system, and I think I'm going to putting this slowly into the minds of our trustees, that understand that there is another way, and don't follow the one that you're seeing outside. Don't be discouraged by what you're hearing outside. There is another way. So I hope they're getting convinced about it. That's all I can say.
Well, look at, you know, I've known you now for 4 years, and it was a vision that you had. And all I saw was a picture. I guess a drawing of what the prospectus would be. The next thing I knew, even during COVID, all of a sudden, it's manifested. So there must be something pushing this force. And if you've gotten this far, we need to help you.
Okay, what else do you have? What else would you like to look to? Is there anything else that you would like to tell? Is there not the food too much sumptuous? I sometimes feel that.
Well, I have been really blessed in the food here because I'm pretty particular myself. You know, I like it to taste good. And both trips, we used to take pictures of it because it was always fulfilling. You know, I'm not saying it's over the top. You don't allow a lot of sweets, but it's all natural.
I feel it's over the top.
Well, but you're a sadhu, so, you know, for us, we like, and even and you always try, if you find out someone likes something. I happen to like upama. I can get upama till I can swim in it. And mommy will say to me, you want upama? Yeah, I still do, because where else can I get that on a regular basis? So the food is fine. And I think more important is the fact that you take a real interest in each of us to see that we are satisfied emotionally, spiritually, and physically. Are you comfortable? I have a bad leg, so you give me a room where I don't have to go up and down the stairs. In some ashrams, you don't get that option. I'm a foreigner, so I can't take the heat so much. I got a room with the air conditioning. But just think how much that costs. So, we have to realize that not only do we take, we have to give.
Okay. So anything that else that you want to ask her? You can ask her something. Yeah, let her say.
And then we have my darling Maya, who goes through her experiences, and I observe, and we watch the movie, and it's coming out very good. Amazingly enough, even with the hardest of personal things that we are going through, we realize this is not permanent. This is the mind. And if you can observe the mind and get control over it, there's hope. But if you just keep believing that that's all there is, it's depressing.
Have you met some people who are in the, shall we say, community? I don't want to call them
Any names or
devotees
groups,
or disciples and all that thing, because too much is read into all that. I'm not interested in that kind of thing. But there are some people, Mary already, but
Yes.
like people like Koiri, the other people whom you met here, what do you think of them? What kind of group is it?
I see, first of all, that they're fine teachers, but they didn't get all that they needed from all the courses that they took and the amount of money they spent on classes and diplomas. It still didn't get to the core, but they are sincere. You would be honored to recommend them as teachers, as human beings. Your trustees that I've met, from Yamana and her husband and Ramesh, and these are people who are sincere in bringing Sanatana Dharma, whatever that means to you, but I understand it that the real teachings of yoga. And I see that you attract, because of your own personal devotion to Master and to Sanatana Dharma, you are drawing in people who are worthy of knowing. Everyone I've met here has been a delight.
Okay, I think that's. I wanted you to ask some question.
I'm just
As a person who has
enjoying
just met her never seen her before.
No.
Ask her a question.
Yeah.
Come on, ask her a question.
I'm trying
Ask
to
her
think
something,
about
yeah.
the question, because she told so beautifully and she touched all the aspects. What can I ask you?
I think there's a bonding that happens when you spend time together with a teacher like Swamiji, and the purification that goes through, because none of us want to be told that our egos need clamping down on, and we all have pretty good egos. But the fact that
Yeah, that's true. I agree.
but the fact that you can be so intensely kind, and then you say, okay, enough of the foolishness, let's get back to reality. Is that your mind, your ego, or the Atman? And most of the time, it's the ego.
All right. Thanks, Adelina.
Oh, I can't
And,
wait for my next visit, God willing.
I hope you will make a visit again. Next time, by the time probably you would have finished maybe one more of the scriptures. Huh?
Yeah, the Gita.
But that helps.
Yeah,
Remember that. Go into the things that I've given you. You still got a lot of stuff with you. So please go into that. And I want it to be seen in the behavior of more introvertness than extrovertness for you.
And for someone like me, I was a performer, an actress. That is the hard one.
Yeah, so
And
that's the one that we are talking about.
Yeah, and that's the one I'm
And
going to work on.
What our family needs from us is
Compassion.
more caring. That's all.
Yeah,
And they don't need money and stuff like that. And I'm trying to keep telling people, that this is not what they want. They
They need
just
our time.
want a little bit of your time. They're not asking all of your time.
Yeah. And it's pretty
Um,
selfish when you get into, quote, the spiritual
Yeah,
world. You
so-
start thinking, oh, it's all about me.
Yeah.
And it isn't. It isn't.
So this I am sure that it is going to happen. I'm very happy that your husband Munir now once again has started in front of the camera after such a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, that is the biggest gift that has happened.
You got him out of bed.
And I never thought, frankly, when you were telling me, when we were talking about oxygenating him, and then the diabetic condition, and then how much it costs, and how much it's going to cost, and we bring it from US, and so on and so forth, that he would ever be able to get up and be able to stand at all. You know, I was not at all sure of that. So to that, from there to this, and it is really a massive change. I think to some extent, definitely, there has been a role of what he is seeing happening to you, and also of Karen, and because she has had a significant impact on him.
He had no
Because
clue
of her
what my
experience, yeah.
reason for coming here was. And I wasn't expressive enough. It was a bit selfish. And now I realize I have to include him in my spiritual growth. I
Please.
can't. I
And be
promise.
in touch with Narayan and other things that you want to do.
Yes, and remember, we're going to start giving people a chance to see some of this beautiful artwork, and we're going to try and have a few products where you can help the Kutir.
Let's
So
see how it
let's
works
see
out.
how that works out.
All right. I don't know. Like somebody said, when you write a book, will the Kutir be helped? I said no.
No.
The certain book is coming out. They say, will it help the Kutir? I said no. Because whatever you make, everything has been given. Anybody who has come here has been given free the book.
I know.
Anybody who has not come here has been given the book. Right? Nothing. No, but- so I'm not interested in that. But yes, I think that, something of course we definitely need, because, but I think God will take care of it. Swamiji has got that much of power.
Look,
More
I
than-
got here,
more than-
remember?
No, more than anything else, for me personally, his presence can be seen here, okay, in people, in the things that you do, and the magic that happens. Yeah, like for example, yesterday Rameshji was going out, and I asked him. Somebody asked him. I said, "What about your place? Where are you going to stay?" He said, "Here." So I was amazed. I was taken aback. I said, "I mean, that much of process and commitment has taken place with our trustee is fantastic, isn't it? I mean, I never expected him
Remember
to answer
last
like
year, Yamuna and her husband, they were just thinking about a house. Now they have a beautiful summer
Yeah, yeah.
house, and they're close to you.
Yeah.
You can see you
Last year when you had come, I think they were just made the first visit.
made the
I
first
remember the-
visit.
remember the
Remember?
photograph that I
Yeah,
had
and she
taken.
gave the book and
And by the time you came back next, the house is made and they have
Yeah.
already been transferred, which was never in his plan, ever in his plan. So thank you, Hari. Love you.
love you more. Thank you, sweetie. Om Namah
Be
Shivaya.
blessed.
Thank you. I am.
And
I
anything
know
you need, you just let me know.
Always.
You know that space is not a problem.
That's the one thing you always respond. That's amazing.
Because space is not a problem for me, so
I
you don't
know.
have to worry.
And you carry us in your heart. So thank you, dear.
People think space is a problem. As far as I'm concerned, space is not a problem.
Oh,
Other things may be a problem, but not space. All
I'll
right?
try not to bombard you with too many things.
Hari Om.
Hari Om Tat Sat.